Today, we are going to talk about GoGuardian. GoGuardian is software that allows you to monitor your students' screens from your screen and so much more. Okay, we're going to start with how to access it, how to get there. The first thing you're going to do is go to Class Link. If all of it is still the same, you simply click on your home button in Google Chrome and you log into Class Link, and you should find GoGuardian SSO or GoGuardian Teacher. I do believe they're the same thing. So whichever one you click on, you're simply going to want to log in with Google. Okay, so that's how you access GoGuardian. Next, classrooms. Here's kind of the meat of GoGuardian. Here's how you monitor and interact with GoGuardian. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to manually start a class. Okay, first of all, when you first log into GoGuardian and you click on Classrooms right over here to the left, you will notice your classrooms automatically. Okay, they're automatically created and updated at a district level. You don't have to create the classes, add students, or anything like that. They should automatically be created. Okay, now to start a class, you're simply going to choose the card, choose the class you want to start, and you're going to click right over here in the time. You're going to choose one of the minutes, or you can even say custom end time right down here. Okay. Now, it made sense to me that I would just put in the custom end time as the end of the class period when the bell rings, so that it just stops on its own when the bell rings. Okay. So that's up to you. In a little while, I'm going to show you how to automate all of this. But for now, let's say we choose 45 minutes and we say start class. Okay. Now, this session has started. Now, what you'll notice on this screen is you can see all of your students' screens. There are more as you scroll down, and you can see live what each of them are doing. There's a little bit of a delay, but for the most part, you can see live as their screens change and what they're doing. Okay. Now, if you wanted to expand on a certain student's screen, you would simply hover over it and click to expand. Now you've expanded their screen. There's a whole lot of information here. First of all, the student's name will be right over here. Okay. The tabs they have open are right over here. All the tabs that they have open, you even have the option to close that tab by clicking over here. Okay. And also, there are some individual student options right here. Okay. If you want to exclude this student from this GoGuardian session, you can just click exclude student. If you want to open a new tab from your computer on their computer, you just click open new tab. If you want to lock their device, you can lock it right here. If you want to take a screenshot of what you see them doing for documentation purposes, you can click screenshot real quick and you can annotate. This kind of lets you show them from your computer on theirs what you're doing. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of information and options that you can do here. Let's close that. You can also click on one of their cards. Instead of clicking to expand and open it all the way, you can click the three dots on one of their cards and do a few things from this menu. Lock their device, open a tab, or exclude them. Okay. You can also choose more than one student or all of them by selecting this box right here. Okay, and choose all students online or whatever you want. Okay, and then you'll be able to come down here and apply one of these options to all of the students that you selected instead of one at a time. Okay, you can open a new tab on all of their computers, lock all their devices, unlock all their devices, exclude them from the sessions, or apply a scene. Okay, we'll go into scenes momentarily. Lastly, you can update the time right here. If you know that your class is going to be extended for some reason, you see right up here it says 20 minutes remaining. You can click update time and you can extend the session by 5, 10, 15, or 30, or you can specifically put in a time right down here and click update session. Okay. Now back here on the tab that says screenshots, you can go and access any of the screenshots you took during that session. It will tell you what time it was taken, who the student is. You can download that screenshot or save it to your drive, all for documentation purposes. So those are the basics of running a GoGuardian session. Now, let's go to scenes. Scenes is where you really have a lot more control, okay? Excuse me. Scenes are a list that you create of allowed websites or blocked websites. Now, as you know, there are millions and millions of websites on the internet. It seems to be much easier to me to create allowed websites than blocked ones. So what I do is I create allowed websites lists. You'll notice I have a few of them right down here. I have one called Basics List. That's the basic stuff that I allow my students to do in my classroom at any time. Then I have one called typing only, because the first 10 minutes of our class, they're supposed to be typing on a website only, and that's it. I have others called grades and messages. You can create your own. Okay. I'm going to click on my typing only one to show you. Okay. Right over here, it shows you all the sites that are allowed right here. Okay. So when I apply this scene, these sites right here are the only things these students are going to be able to get to. To build a scene in GoGuardian is very simple. You click on scenes, and then it depends on if you want to create an allowed websites list or a blocked websites list. Okay. But under either of them, you're going to click on create list. Okay. Once you do, it's going to ask you to name it. So let's say we're going to call this one start of class. Okay. And if you want to add a description to that, you can, but you don't have to. You can change the icon color as well. And then you're going to click next. Start of class. Now you're going to notice that right now you created the list, but you have nothing in it. Okay. So let's say that one of the allowed websites that they will be allowed to in the start of class is edpuzzle.com. I'm going to type it in and search it. You can also copy and paste from the website if you need to. But I searched and it found edpuzzle.com. I'm going to click add. Now it's in your list. And you do the same thing for any other websites that you want to be allowed in your start of class scene. Okay. When you're done, you simply click save. Now let's go back to scenes. You can also create scenes for specific students. Okay. I created a couple here and I named it their name, but I don't have it there for obvious FERPA reasons. But we had a student having trouble going to places they weren't supposed to. And so I created one for that specific student with the specific websites they were allowed to be. And it helped quite a bit. So let's go back to scenes. Now, you say, okay, once I've created my scenes, my allowed websites lists, okay, how do I use them? Well, let's go back to classrooms. And let's say that you have a session going on right now. Right up here to the right, you will see where it says no scene applied. All you do is simply click there and you choose one of the scenes that you've created. You'll have to click view more if there's more, but you choose one of the ones you created to apply to that session. And you can change the scenes during a live session. I generally start out with the one called beginning of class because those are the things they're allowed to do. And I set that as the default scene, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay. But then I switch over to a different scene once I get them working. Okay. So right over here is where you can switch from scene to scene live during the session. Okay. Now let's go back to classroom. Now, if you want to set a default scene, in other words, every time you start a session for that class, that scene will start automatically. You simply go to that class card, click on settings, and choose set a default scene. And you choose the one that you want it to begin immediately. You'll see mine is beginning of class because that's kind of the default of what we do the same every single day. So then click save. Okay. So what you will notice when you first create your allowed website scene is that there are some things you didn't think about. And as the students come across them, they're going to ask you why it's blocked. Now, you may say that I'm not going to unblock that because I don't want that as part of the scene. Or you may realize, okay, they need that. I want to add that to the scene. You don't have to open scenes again. All you have to do is right over here, you'll notice on their screen, okay, that it's blocked. And you can click on view screen to see what they're looking at to decide if you want to unblock it or not. But if you decide, you can click unblock for class and you can choose either unblock site. That means the entire website and all the pages within it will be added to your allowed websites list. Or you can say just unblock that one page. Okay. Either way, that will be added to your scene, your list, so that you don't have to keep going and updating it. Otherwise, you can tell them, I'm not going to unblock that. You'll have to do something differently. Okay, so those are scenes. They're very powerful. When you're done with a session, you simply click end session. All right, and you confirm it. Now, I've shown you how to manually start a session, how to help students throughout the session, how to access their screens, how to see things. I've also shown you how to create scenes so that there's only specific things they can do. Now, what I want to show you is the calendar, a way for you to automate all of it. Okay. So instead of constantly 6 or 7 times a day starting a new session and then forgetting to click end session and whatnot, the calendar helps you to automate all of it. So I'm going to show you the calendar now, right over here to the left when you click calendar. Okay. All you're going to do is hit add to calendar. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to start out by choosing the classroom you're creating a schedule for. Okay. For example, I'm going to choose my fourth period. Okay. I guess if you're doing it in order, you start with your first period and go from there, right? I generally use our bell schedule for this so that when the bell rings, the session automatically starts uh, for class. And then when the bell rings for class to end, the session also automatically ends. And I don't have to think about it. Okay. So let's say I'm going to choose my fourth period. Okay. And what day of the week? I'll start out with Monday. And then I'm going to write here on Monday, whatever time fourth period is, according to the bell schedule, I'll put from to right here. And then when I'm ready, I'll click add another day or time and I'll click Tuesday and do the same thing. I'll make all 5 days of the week with the exact same times for that period so that all of this happens automatically. When I'm done, I click add to calendar. And now you don't have to worry about starting and stopping sessions. They will start and stop on their own. Now, one thing to remember is to go through the school calendar, okay, and cancel all GoGuardian sessions on the days we don't have school, Mondays, Fridays, whatever weekdays we don't have school. You're going to want to go find that day, click on the top right here and choose cancel all sessions. I don't have a screenshot for that, but you'll click here and choose cancel all sessions. Otherwise, when the students are at home, your GoGuardian will still be on and they'll be emailing you asking you to turn it off. Okay. Other things to remember when you have a sub and things like that, you may want to just go ahead and turn it off because the sub doesn't know how to deal with the scenes and things like that. The last thing I'm going to share with you are student reports. This can be a powerful thing for documentation purposes. If you click right over here under student reports, okay, you're going to start out by selecting a classroom. Okay, so maybe you're looking for a specific student and you need to select the classroom that they're in. Then right here, you're going to click select a student. Now, I don't have the student's name shown here for obvious reasons, but let's say I selected this student and then you select a date range. Okay. When you're ready, you simply click View Report. So what you're going to see here are the top 5 websites that they were on, the top 5 documents, the top 5 Google searches, the time spent on each of those. As you scroll down a little more, you'll see intervention. If you had to intervene and lock their screen or see what tabs they had opened or what tabs you had to close or the blocked sites, okay? You'll also notice screenshots that you took during that session. They'll be right here, and also detailed browsing history. This tells you every single website that they went to at what time, on what date, and so on and so forth.